Welcome back, everyone. I'm Alex. This time, I'm joined by the one, the only, Shay. How you doing? How did you find that first game?
That first game
First
was
round.
absolutely, it was also forwards and backwards, and then Leon really manipulating time really well at the end to make sure he got 2 turns, and it was all the way down to the wire. I was watching myself there with the headset like, oh my goodness, is he going to do it? And then Roxanne got the boss as well. Oh my goodness. Let's just keep our fingers crossed that this next round is going to be as exciting.
Yeah, and what a lovely game we have prepped for round 11. 2 fantastic players. One with a shed load of accomplishments, and Bolly also with a good number of finishes this season. Yeah. He's really sort of coming to the fore, so it is, sorry, I got ahead of myself. We do have Nico Alabas will be facing against our other player here from London, a good friend of ours as well, Bolly Olufon. With all of those finishes, kind of quite consistent in being able to make it to day 2. One of those, he knocked me out of top 16 in that Harrogate Regional, which is a bit unfortunate, but lots of love to Bolly.
Yeah, Bolly's been doing really well this season. I always see him knocking about in day 2. His opponent, no, Nico Alabas. This is going to be a tough game. OCIC champion, top 4 Lille, finalist Malmo, finalist Bristol, and then real recently with Archvaladon, the winner of the special event in Utrecht. So Nico's going to be doing everything in his power to get himself in the top 8 and hopefully win this one. Bolly, you spoke to him yesterday in interviews. He wants to win the whole thing as well. So 2 clash of titans here.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think we had enough space for Nico's accomplishments.
Yeah.
Considering he's been playing for a long time now, at the top of the game for that full stretch, pretty much. You know, again, also a good friend to see doing well. Just to give you an idea what both players are playing, Nico is playing the deck I chose prior to this tournament, Gardevoir EX, up against Bolly's little teched out Lost Box.
Yeah, one thing about Bolly, if you don't know him personally, that Bolly is not shy of bringing the spicy cards. And Bolly in this Lost Box deck is really built around trying to get to that Mirage Gate as soon as possible. So you might be thinking Turbo Lost Box, but Bolly has a little bit of a couple other additions just to make sure he gets that Turbo as soon as possible. We see 3 copies of Forest Stone and 2 copies of Switch as well.
He's going into that turbo.
Yeah, that next level turbo.
Getting those Confays down, more of them down, particularly in this matchup if he knows he's going up against Gardevoir EX as well, to just sort of instantly start swinging turn 1 very quickly, going into things like that Greninja potentially that could start targeting down if Nico is unable to get or establish a Manaphy early on. But we do see both players there just setting up for game 1, just double checking with the judges, just having that general chit chat as we're about to head into game 1 here as well. What are you feeling for this matchup, Shay?
This is, like you said, if Bolly can really turbo out that Moonlight Shuriken, after we'll start first, it's a Tails, then I'm not sure.
Yeah, so I think Bolly looked like, lip reading, it looked like he said, I'm going first.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I think I caught there. Just giving that information and confirming as well as Bolly. Both players starting with a basic in hand as they hand over their prizes to the prize cam for the judges. Just a quick opportunity to take it easy and just kind of settle themselves for this round 11.
Yeah, this is all to play for now. Like I said, both players want to win the whole event. That means you're going to have to keep winning at this 7-2-1 record. Try and get to 10 wins as soon as possible. Looking at the prize cards, both players doesn't seem terribly impactful. 1 Sableye, 1 Boss for Bolly. That is his only copy of Boss, so we'll keep an eye on that. 1 copy of Energy Recycler does play 2. And then 1 copy of Sableye could be worth keeping an eye on. But it does start off the game, though, with a Comfort and a Battle VIP pass. Things you'd love to see.
What more could you ask for in this deck, as he's going to be looking to try and accelerate to 7 in the Lost Zone as soon as possible, so he can begin, just start trying to take down Pokemon. Nico starting that Zacian V is also a potential just 2 prizer that Bolly can target down with things like the Dragonite as well. So lots of different potential options here for Bolly as he just double checks what is prized, eyeing up that there's nothing too much that he really needs to worry about. Targeting that double Comfey early on, really heavily leaning into being turbo.
Yeah, and it's interesting with Bolly going first. I wonder if there's a world in which Bolly can maybe try and get to Lost Mine. Turn 2. Is that possible?
In his second turn, he'll very likely do it based on his build. Particularly with the multiple copies of Forest Seal Stone, the Lost Vacuums, of course, eventually getting a chance to play Chorus out. Does have his 4 comp phase out immediately, which has been his game plan when I spoke to him off camera. As well. He has been able to get to Lost Mine super quickly, but of course, does still have the utility outs like the Greninja attacks as well as his big V Pokemon when he needs it. But at this moment, he's just going to keep bursting through. We do see one of those switch prize, as you kind of mentioned. We do see the first flower selecting of day 2, Shay.
Yeah, was that? The first flower selecting of day 2. Will there be more? We'll have to find out. And you want me to find out by watching the stream all the way till the end.
That's a Lost Vacuum straight into the Lost Zone. So one of those bursting cards. But because he's going first, he can kind of take it slightly slower and then ask questions of Nico whilst he's doing it. So he did have a lightning energy he put to hand with that lost. Well, not lost, with the flower selecting sorry as the second one comes in.
Getting rid of the Chorus. Wow.
Have another one in hand.
Yeah.
Got to give or maybe just eyeing up, getting as many as possible.
Wow.
You
look
see
at
him
this.
just going
4
through.
in the Lost Zone already going first. 4 flowers.
Another Battle VIP pass. What's the other card? I couldn't quite catch it. But look at the options he's already going through. You know, this is it. This is what he explained to me. Goes forward about VIP pass, doesn't need it, keeps the Chorus, it looks like.
Yes, which would make sense because one got Lost Zoned already. And there, like you said, getting out 4 comp phase, using 4 comp phase to 1 for Bolly. Tell you what, you can't really ask for more than that. Over to Nico.
Free from Nico.
Using jaw free support with no other effect. There's no stadium worker, so didn't expect to be seeing an effective How or Tierno or Cherin.
Yeah, we never really fought How and these kind of Tierno Cherins.
Yeah.
Original Cherins, you know, draw free being that strong, but that's just that extra utility to discard the stadium. Does give it enough. We do see the concealed cards there, Shay.
Yeah, Brazil card. I think was that a battle VIP point? I see 1 Volts as Psychic, no, Fog Crystal, I should say. So, okay, so Nico will be able to get some multiple Volts down, and I think that's Nico's priority, to get as many Volts down as possible. Ideally, you want to find your mana fee, because if you look over the board at Bolly, 4 of the Lost Zone already, only needs 3 more to activate Moonlight Shuriken, well, Mirage Gate to then use Moonlight Shuriken, and then that can start getting out of hand.
Does eye up, just kind of making sure it is available as an option for himself there, knowing Bolly, well, after, as you kind of mentioned, bursting through, just making notes of those potential prizes. 2 Psychic there, and the other is that the other Zarshan V there as well. Obviously wasn't able to disrupt Lost Box because that Judge is sat there waiting in the wings as well. I mean, if I'm staring down with Bolly already getting 4 in the Lost Zone we're also putting one of those Chorus Experiment into the Lost Zone, Nico would be thinking, well, he's going to he's going to have Chorus in hand already.
Yeah, so you have to assume that the hand is stacked. Another Fog Crystal. I think we saw an Ultra Ball in Nico's hand as well, so we are probably going to see the mana fee. But Ultra Ball can be very costly for these Gardevoir decks to use. It has to discard resources from the hand. You might rather find a Curlier, so at least you can draw up to afterwards. But here we do see that Ultra Ball being played. What we're gonna see discarded here? I think that looked like a purple card there. Was it a Pokemon? Oh, a double Shining Arcana. Wow.
Yeah. I mean, we've seen some lists play just the 1 copy. Nico going for the double copy in his list for this one. Obviously, both players at excellent records, 7-2-1. Does get the energy attachment to the active, does get the mana fee and the 3rd routes down, and roars to get the energy acceleration onto any Pokemon on his board, I believe.
Yep.
With that fantastic ability it has. So let's see where this energy is going to go. If he does get it to the active, I mean, it will hit the discard if it does get knocked out, but Bolly could potentially look to target it down with a Dragonite or something. He doesn't have it in hand, it looks like. I think that's why he kept the lightning energy.
That makes sense. And I think, look at Nico's hand, I think I've only seen 1 Curlier. I don't think I saw a trainer card. So Nico's turn next turn could be a little bit dicey.
Depending on what he draws,
Depending on what he draws. Nico could be in Top Deck City right now. Hopefully he can get a 1-way ticket out of there. Over to Bolly though. Top Deck in the VIP Battle Pass. Turn too late there, I'm afraid. Won't be getting much of that. Here we go. Chorus Experiment. Looking at top 5 cards. Keep 3. Lost Zone 2.
Let's get the Greninja
Greninja and Cramran.
Nest Ball, so maybe Yeah, so it looks like just the one copy because he's turboing into his other attackers. It's just there as additional utility. I think he keeps the energy and the Greninja because he could utilize the Greninja to just draw more cards and get his combo. You know, I think just a little quick tidy of the lost zone there, so we just get a bit of clarity for both players from the judge to make sure does have the nest ball to sort of maybe thin some things out as well. Just kind of double checking here. Yeah, he's on to the 6, one flower selecting. Just wondering if he should maybe, he's looking to try and thin out a little bit more as well. He's looking to go for Lost Mine nice and early. Does he have the cards to go into it? There's the nest ball for the Sableye. This could be hype.
Yeah, going for the Sableye turn 2. You could try and remove the mana feed, basically forcing Nico to, like, you know, try and mirror him and get it back. Turn 2 might not be the easiest thing in the world, and if it doesn't, then Greninja can come out to play, as it were. Here we see this flower selecting, very important, as flower selecting does activate.
Does get the Forest Seal Stone, I think, which means he has Lost Vacuum in hand, which will just bump up further ones. Oh, there's the escape rope to keep pivoting.
Oh, I wonder if Nico promotes it. Probably Greninja? Is it Greninja, surely? Because you don't want to give up a... Oh, okay, fair enough.
Memory skip rolls.
Memory skip rolls. Won't be skipping much memories if you sent to the discard pile, unfortunately.
So, second.
So now Bolly...
Glitch cart. He's still bursting through, Shay.
Oh, my goodness. Still needs to... I'd be happy just getting your Mirage Gates activated this turn, but Bolly said, no, I want to get to that 10. I want a Lost Mine right now. Pokestop could be interesting as well. Did get sent to Lost On, unfortunately, but that is another way to get items in the hand. Another switch card.
If he's got Mirage Gate, he can still attach energy from hand to retrieve.
Oh, there's a Forest Seal Stone.
There's a Forest Seal Stone. I think I may have misseen it, but that switch card is there as well. He's just double checking which is best option. Yeah, so he did have Lost Vacuum. Oh, sorry, maybe I missed
Yeah, I think got it the other way around, I think. Yeah. That's okay, though. We're just excited.
I am excited. He's 9. He's basically has it, right? He goes into... Goes into any of the Forest Seal Stones, but then, and Lost Vacuum, just wants to utilize it to grab whatever he wants as well. Yeah, just double checking Nico, wanting to make sure what resources have been used so far.
Thinking, wow, I'm staring down a turn 2 Lost Mine here. Like, yeah, how has this happened? So
just double counting that he will have 10 in the Lost Zone should he utilize the Forest Seal Stone and Lost Vacuum capabilities. Does need that retreat into the Sableye. I don't think he might not have the Mirage Gate to power it up with the energy attachment, manual attachment to it. So looks like he's just eyeing up that switch.
And there's a usefulness of switch. You know, if you want to try and save your switch card for any other time in the game, you might need that when you might need the heal 30. How about you just throw out a switch instead, and that gets the job done. 2 copies of Switch, and it's funny, I remember I was building Lost Box the other day, actually, and I didn't have any Switch card, and I looked how much they cost, and I thought, no, I ain't paying that, so I'm just going to play 4 Switch in my Lost Box instead. And for the most part, it gets the job done. And here it is in Bolly. He's playing 2 copies of Switch, and he finds himself at a 7-2-1 record here at Turin Regionals. Things you'd love to see. Nico struggling to pick up the deck there. Okay, but turn 2 Lost Mine, Alex. I'm very impressed watching this deck in action.
It's ideal opportunity from Bolly because then he can start just taking out very squishy routes that are available on Nico's side of the board, as this Sableye will just be swinging away with that Lost Mine, sprinkling those counters. Does target the mana fee nice and early. Of course, the only recovery Nico tends to have is the Miriam, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep, just 1 copy of Miriam, which lets you shuffle in, 5, I believe, and then draw 3. So not
spreading out that damage to the routes there. Of course, knowing that they will be evolving up to 80 HP Curliers, keeping them in that 60 HP range, could be big as well. And also wants to make sure, you know, that he's getting as much efficiency out of those sprinklings of damage counters as much as possible.
Yeah, so it's only 1 copy of Curlier and the Moonglow reverse for Nico. Wow, this is going to be a very big refinement here, Alex. This could... oh, there's a research. I apologize. Not used to seeing that Professor, was it Sada artwork there. Not too used to that one. To tell a lie, Nico firmly trying to get himself back into this game. And now he would start seeing some Curliers come down, refinements, start growing the hand and getting energies in the discard pile. We could even see a rare Candy Gardevoir EX potentially.
Yeah, there's lots of options here for Nico, and this is what I really like about the deck as well as my pre-tournament choice, just because it has so much inherent power available there. Does level ball for the Mew there, which has the Mysterious Tail ability, which is a great card to go into, usually if there's a bench space, but of course had to prioritize the routes.
Yeah.
And also additional draw power and the mana fee. Of course, right now he's got a full bench. It will be susceptible to Greninja plays if Bolly chooses to go down that route. But yeah, let's see from this first refinement, what does he walk into? Is that a further route?
Is that like collapsed and a Rolts, I believe.
Yeah, and there's the second Curlier coming down. Both now down to 60 HP, but does have that Cresselia there waiting in the wings as well to take that damage counters off it.
I don't think we see any Psychic in the discard pile yet, though. For Moonglow Reverse, you need what, at least one energy.
Yeah, well, one, yeah.
One, but I don't think
just to pivot around, yeah.
Well, and we need a rare Candy, or a way to get out the active, or, you know, rare Candy Gardevoir. But I don't think we've seen much of that yet. Yet being the keyword there, that could change. Here we do see level ball for Curlier. So 3 Curliers out turn 2. We're talking about how good of a turn 2 Bolly's had, and Nico's looking pretty good as well. You know, 3 Curliers, Zacian with 2 energy, got the Greninja out as well. Could be a lot worse.
Yeah, I don't know if he's going to evolve it up right now. I think if he doesn't play any switch outs, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, other than the Penny, but of course he's already used the Research there on his start of his second turn. So does go for the concealed cards, knowing he needs to pivot out of this. Is that a Forest Sealstone? Oh no, yeah, it's a Sky. It might be a Sky Sealstone there, but which isn't going to be too helpful.
Not in this matchup.
No. So this could be a little bit tricky for Nico. Could he memory skip the Sableye?
Yeah, you could. You could, and because Bolly's bench locked, you wouldn't be able to bench another one and sort of retreat into it. That might be, I think, Bolly just laughing. I think you might be seeing that there, because you can't put the Greninja down if there's no KO. Yeah, you don't really want a Dragon Gale here either, so it could be a memory skip.
Especially seeing Bolly has played a number of switch outs already.
Yeah, true.
So let's see how Nico's able to play out this turn. It doesn't look like Bolly has any other ways of getting out, but yeah, there's a little cheeky smile. Nothing else available at the moment. What's his top deck?
Ooh.
That's the extra 10 damage as well. Oh, is that switch cut?
So switch cut pays retreat, right?
Yeah, yes. I think he's just. That's just really unfortunate there, and that's gonna potentially wipe out 2 Curliers.
And it heals the damage as well, extra insult or injury, and gets the flower selecting in as well.
Yeah, just why not at this point?
Probably, get rid of Forest.
Doesn't really need it. I don't actually see what the other card is.
Drapion.
I guess he could power it up with 2 Mirage Gates.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, can't he? So it could be an extra utility attacker at some stage. Straight back into the Sableye.
Wow.
Lost Mine dealing another 12 damage counters. Nico's board looking very thin and bare after that turn.
What a turn. You can tell that Bolly has definitely played this deck a lot and knows his way around the matchup. It seems to be like this is just Bolly's game right here. Everything just seems to be rolling well. You can tell with all the previous damage was placed meticulously just for that exact turn there. And Nico now has to try and find rare Candy Gardevoir if he even wants to start realistically attacking with, to do some major damage. Could attack with Zacian as well. That's a possibility, but that could just get Dragonited. So, wow. Strong turns there from Bolly.
All the threats on Bolly's side of the board. That top deck being incredible.
Yeah.
Just to be able to then reuse Lost Mine for a second time. There's another memory skip.
Another memory skip.
Nothing else.
Does Bolly have a switching card? Escape Rope.
Oh
my goodness. Oh dear.
Another flower selecting available as well. Just see more cards as, well, yeah, he's just going to continue playing out his turn. I guess he...
Yeah, well, those cards can't change, so I don't think that really affects anything.
Not a problem at all. Because it was just waiting for Nico to complete the action of the escape rope as Bolly now flower selects for another card. Does have the other energy in hand to retreat the active. I think he plays Recyclers as well. 2 copies of that.
But yeah, here's going to see an interesting debate as to, because we've seen how good memory skip Ralts is here, right? Well, for delaying attacks, but it only has 60 HP. That's why you only play one. So in this exact scenario, Sableye can't take 2 prizes on 2 Ralts. So the little 70 HP teleportation burst could be coming in very handy here.
Yeah, great point, Shay, because you often go early with the memory skip Ralts with the 60 HP, so you can evolve it up as soon as possible, keeping it out of range from any sort of, I guess, Sableye shenanigans.
Sableye shenanigans. That's exactly what it is.
As we do see the Lost Mine come straight back up, well, Lost Mine Sableye come straight back up, and yet again, will he be targeting down the memory skip here? But I guess it's either or at this stage. He maybe doesn't really want to put the energy into the discard.
Pile. Yeah, but
one has to be targeted down.
Yes, you always get rid of one. I'd be tempted to just get rid of memory skip just so I don't have to deal with it potentially next turn. So I've been playing hot potato around the active, but then you do put energy in the discard pile. But then it also gives you 6 other damage counters to play with.
Let's get a chance to just play around with. But there's that Cresselia in the active spot, so ideally it kind of all has to go on one Pokemon.
Yeah, that's a fantastic point, actually. And so we're going to see what, 6 on there. Wow, this Sableye is doing the utmost shenanigans right now.
He's been hanging around. He's done 360 damage to Nico's side of the board already in as few turns as possible.
With one energy, that one Sableye. You see that Dragonite on the bench? That's done nothing really, apart from be a Forest Seal Stone target. This Sableye has been going to town. Speaking of Forest Seal Stone, there's a Sky Seal Stone. Won't be seeing that much in this matchup. It's interesting to see that Nico is opting for the Sky Seal. See, most Gardevoir lists, including Tord, opting to go for the Forest Seal, but here we see a Roxanne. Okay, now this is a very good defense against Lost Box, isn't it, Alex?
I think it's just down to this and seeing what he can draw, potentially keep himself in the game and maybe lock Bolly out. But again, you make a very interesting point, Shay. Players, particularly Gardevoir players, trying to go back to Sky Sealstone because of the prevalence of Arceus decks and Mew decks, which have won the most recent tournaments.
Fantastic
now
point.
utilizing to take more prizes where it can. But let's see whether this sticks. This is the chance now for Nico to understand whether he can even make a comeback in this game, being 4 prizes down.
Yeah, and I think we saw Bolly had a Mirage Gate and a Colress, I believe, so not the worst of Roxanne's that I think. Was it Col? Oh, no, Energy and Mirage Gate, sorry. And what is Nico? The scary thing for Nico here is that if you survive into a Curlier, any form of bench damage can just KO that. I only have 20 HP, so in an ideal world, you really want to go Rare Candy Gardevoir. And there's a concession there from Nico, basically sitting right on the wall and trying to give himself as much time for game 2 and 3 possible. I call that a veteran's concede.
100%. I think that's exactly what I was beginning to think about a little bit earlier when just even going 3 prizes down.
Yeah.
Whether Nico could consider just conceding a little bit earlier, just give him additional time to try and take games 2 and game 3. But yeah, incredible display of Ollie's Lost Box. I say turbo. I'm going to keep referring it back to that because you don't typically see 2 switch as well.
Yeah, oh, double T, Lost Box, no, double Lost Box, because you can just, I'm honestly so impressed with that. 4 comp phase turbo, you don't see that terribly often, but turns 1 and 2, Bolly used all 4 comp phase on both turns. And just weaved in 1 Colress, and all of a sudden Lost Mine is knocking on the door, saying, what's that, Ralt? See you later, see that later, Manaphy, and all this, that, and the other, did do a little bit of this. And the pressure that puts onto an Evolution deck is just, it's just so strong.
I mean, it's just being able to get to that massive number of Lost Zone cards, gives himself options as well. So if he sees Nico put down the Manaphy, then he'll just burst onto the Sableye. But if that Manaphy doesn't come down, he can take it a little bit slower if he wanted to. Get himself into Mirage Gate range, use the Ninja instead, and instantly wipe out 2 routes on the board or smaller Pokemon where possible. So incredible display. I'll be interested to see whether going second this time, he'll be able to burst straight into one of those attackers. But yeah, let's see. I'm hyped.
There is a potential for a turn 1 going second, Moonlight Shuriken, if Nico cannot find Manaphy. It's not in the prize cards for Nico. Prize cards, okay. Penny being prized could be interesting. That's one way to remove damaged Pokemon. Oh my goodness!
And pass. Bolly looks shocked as he heard the pass and smiled there.
Oh, wow.
What can you do? Both players at least in good spirits.
That hand is stacked, Alex. Double VIP
Can it
pass,
happen?
Colrus, escape rope, all in the hand.
Has to use one of his big attackers, of course. This time he does have the Raiko as well as a potential attacker. Just needs to fill the bench a little bit easier because it's just the 2 energies it needs. Does also have fleet footing to get more.
Yeah.
Can it be done? There's the Raiko. We just seen skip past. He's lifted it up at the back as well. Is that an option? Is that what he's going to go for? Let's see how this turn plays out.
I think Cresselia has, what, 120, right? So you have to fill your bench, and it's 20 plus. So that would work if you fill your bench.
Exactly. He's eyeing it up.
And like you said, has fleet-footed. Every card counts. That hand is very good, though. that hand is very good. The only downside here is leading that Cramorant. That's not what. That's almost a card you don't want in this scenario. But apart from that, this hand is strong.
2 switching cards in hand gives him a chance to pivot into those comp phase. This second battle VIP pass, I mean, it would be a surprise if he doesn't maybe go into another comp phase that he targets and the Raiko as it comes down onto the board. Nico staring down at a potential benching turn 1, game 2 in round 11 of our day 2 Turin special event.
Yeah, how would you feel if your body being right? I've cooked 1 game off an IC champion, and then in game 2 I have a chance to end it right here and now on my first turn. Look at Boy, look at it.
Praying to the heavens. Can I hit all the cards I need? But don't forget, he doesn't want to overextend, miss it, and if Nico could find a way back into the game, you know, he's just got to make the right decisions here. He's got to play this correctly. He does play the escape rope, I believe. Colrus first. Wow, okay. See more cards. There's a lightning energy that he's going to want. Pokestop to dig. Nest Ball for further cards. Maybe Greninja to help draw more.
Yeah. Wow.
Also options. See, now this is another tricky decision, right? That Dragonite, useful against things like that Zacian V.
Yeah, true. Good point. But I think you have to go all in for
he's
the
gone
Raikou,
full
right?
gas.
You have to go all gas, no brakes, baby. There's no brakes on this train. Okay, here we go.
His
the
decision
first flower selecting, escape rope, good start, lost vacuum.
Oh, that's another piece. Doesn't have Mirage Gate yet, right?
No, doesn't have Mirage
Of course,
Gate.
that Pokestop's another easier way to get into it. Does play the 4 copies, switches into Comfey. Just double checking his options here. He's into 3 in the lost zone, 4 now with this flower selecting.
What do we find?
Sableye, oh, easy choice, surely.
I don't know, we know.
He's got to keep Sableye just in case, because he plays only 2 copies. What if this game goes long?
Yeah, this is true. This is true. This is why Bolly's in this position. I'm not, because I'd be going right now. Everything turbo, everything towards.
Switch, 3rd Comfey, going to the 5th card in the lost zone with this flower selecting. Nest Ball, Clara.
Clara, we don't need... Now, this is an interesting decision, because like you said, if this game goes long, Clara is an invaluable card. Bolly wants to try and make sure this game doesn't go long, though. I'm starting to see... We might have to see a Pokestop and pray at this point. The hand's starting to run out a little bit.
He just needs to switch out into... potentially, because he has a lost vacuum, switch out into the Mirage Gate. And Pokemon, of course, I think he has another Comfey in hand, right?
Vacuum the stadium,
yeah,
right?
Yeah,
of course.
He's 1 piece, I believe, away. Well, maybe 2. Switch out and, well, okay, maybe just the 1, because the Mirage Gate will give him 2 energy.
Yes, yeah. And you still have fleet-footed. This might be finding a Greninja here as well. This might be finding a Greninja as well. We might want to hold on to energy to give yourself a guaranteed
there
retreat.
you go. Draw 2 cards. See 5 more with the Pokestop in effect.
Yeah, this is very true. Oh my goodness gracious, Alex, it's only like 10:30 AM. I didn't think we'll be seeing such, you know, turbo-paced games at this time, but...
Well, he's looking pretty, at the moment, I think pretty happy with himself. No, 1 Mirage Gate prize, so 3 in deck.
True.
Okay. Plenty of energies should still be available as well. That 2/2/4 count, 2 lightning, 2 psychic, 4 water.
Oh,
there's a Pokestop first. There's a water energy.
Colrus.
He's missed the Mirage Gate at the moment, I believe.
Yeah, no, you are correct.
Was that card in the? Is that a Colrus in the last card? What?
Oh, Forest Hill Stone.
Oh,
that
my
guarantees.
God. Hang on, wait. Does it? Oh, he does.
Yeah.
Energy in hand.
Energy in hand, pay retreat.
Mirage Gate.
This finds Mirage
Lost
Gate.
vacuum.
Lost vacuum.
He's got it.
We see the turn 1.
Surely.
We see the turn 1. I'm fairly certain, right? Yeah, this grabs Mirage Gate, energy in hand, or to pay retreat, I believe. And you even got fleet-footed just to...
There's the energy, I think.
Is.
That's it. I don't know how we've toned this down, but Bolly is staring down at a turn 1 potential Mirage Gate for the knockout. He obviously is removing now anything. It could be the tool or the stadium of his choice. Does have the Mirage Gate. He plays, gets an energy that he's already put to the front position, has energy in hand, I believe. Switch card as well.
Wow.
That's it. That's the game. Winner of our round 11, Bolly Oliphant with his Turbo Lost Box. Incredible display.
Yo, TT Lost Box, baby. Well, you know what? I am so impressed watching that deck in action. Both games, that deck did exactly what Bolly wanted it to do. Apply the pressure as early as possible and just keep asking Nico questions. Unfortunately, Nico had no bench Pokemon, unfortunately, but Bolly still had to, you know, get to that Raikou, still had to find those cards in the right order. And all credit to him. He does that and now has 8 wins by the round 2 of day 2.
Yeah, exactly. Heading into another opportunity to just push himself into a top 8, potentially for the first time. Like, really pleased for him. I know Bolly quite well. I've played against him a number of times in the UK scene, and he's doing incredibly well with this list. Like he said, he's a bit of an innovator with some of the decks that he's played. This time, a little bit more conventional, but with just an extra gas that we saw really come to trumps, and taking down a former IC winner.
And special winner as well, one of the most premier players in Europe. All credit to Nico there. I think it's so hard to play an Evolution deck when you're just getting hounded so early from turn 1, and Sableye knocking on the door, and then Raikou knocking on the door. And, you know, we'll full credit to Nico there. Tried his best and still in a fantastic position. I would not be surprised to see Nico do well at this event as well.
Yeah, it basically felt like Nico didn't really get to play the game, did
No,
he?
it was just constant defense.
Yeah, all defense there, and Bolly all attack.
Just looking for those damage counters from Sableye, like, whoa, let me try and stay in the game.
All out attack by Bolly there. But yeah, congratulations to Bolly, moving to an 8-2-1 record. So that's what, 24 plus the 1 point from the tie, 25 points heading into 3 more rounds today. You know, Nico now 7-3-1.
Yep.
Will have to probably win his final 3 rounds to kind of try and get into that top 8 discussion. But I've seen it happen before. You know, Nico's a fantastic player at the same time, so kudos to Nico, and good luck for him in the final rounds as well. But, you know, Bolly, just a fantastic display of a turbo deck.
Isn't it so strange when you think about it? Only 2 extra copies of Switch added, right? From a normal turbo deck. And the difference, maybe it's something to be said about the play style as well, prioritizing 4 comp fate, or as many comp fate as possible, because in that game 1, we saw 8 uses of comp fate in 2 turns.
Yeah.
So, and that's how you got to the 10 so far. So maybe this could be a newer way to approach playing Lost Box moving forward. It's
another way of asking a lot of questions to your opponent, because you're forcing so much pressure early doors, right? As I kind of mentioned, as soon as the Manaphy comes down, well, okay, I'll just burst through and go into the Sprinkle instead. We don't need to use the Moonlight Shuriken. Forgo that. Let's just play the 4 comp phase. But that's what the conversation I had with Bolly was about. He was just going for as full gas as possible, get as many comp phase down, just swing and kind of pivot between them, flower select all the cards he needs, and then just burst away and deal a lot of damage. Like I said, 360 damage counters from the Sableye in, so what, 3 turns, 4 turns, I guess, because he went first. Incredible.
And even been able to maneuver around those tricky memory skips as well.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's what I said, Nico tried his best, but that Sableye was just knocking on the door.
I mean, yeah, I wonder, that one memory skip, the first one, Bolly had to top deck a switch cart, which gave him, again, the opportunity to switch in and out. If he didn't hit that, maybe Nico had a chance.
Maybe for sure, but I guess, you know, sometimes in a long tournament run, you need to have a bit of luck on your side every now and then.
Exactly
and Arceus himself said, you know what, Bolly? Have a switch card. And maneuver a victory there in that game. I've been intrigued to know for Bolly, maybe I'll try and catch him off camera. I wonder how many of his other rounds have gone like that. How many rounds have just been like complete turbo out the game and just sign a match skip really quickly? What do you think? Yeah, I think, again, just a very quick catch-up when I had the chance to speak to him. I feel like he did lean heavily into the comp phase as soon as possible. I guess it's matchup dependent. Doesn't always get too many down to necessarily be easy targets for maybe some mirror matches who are also quick as well. But if he's the one first able to get a Sableye down, that's always been like one of the questions we had
for the mirror match is who's going to be first to get to the Sableye and start sprinkling that damage.
Yeah, because in the Lost Box mirror, all the Pokemon have, for the most part, low HP. So if you can start sprinkling, like I said, that 120 damage via damage counters, get a little bit out of hand, especially if you start doing it on repeated turns. Like you said, 360 over a few turns can be terrifying to deal with.
Yeah, no, exactly that. And like I said, congratulations to Bolly again. He's putting himself that little inch closer. I want to see it happen again. We'll follow closely, of course, because that's how we've seen Lost Box, yesterday. But we never saw it at this kind of pace, it kind of felt like.
Yeah, and this, I say, I'm not the biggest fan of Lost Box.
Yeah,
I'm not going to lie. Sablezard puts me to sleep, I'm not going to lie. Turbo, though.
Hey,
now we're talking.
Take that back.
No, I know you were Sablezard there as well. But yeah, Turbo, though, that wakes me up in the morning. Like, let me see some turn 1 shenanigans or Sableye shenanigans, as you said, as early as possible. So seeing that TT version of Lost Box, Turbo, yeah, I am a big fan.
I'm coin marking that and making sure that sticks with Bolly this whole time.
Yes.
I want to see Super Turbo throughout the tournament. Like I said, I'll be following closely because we want to see our players that we stream do well, right?
Yeah, 100%.
A number of players yesterday. That's why we had a lot of fun with the Arceus builds that we saw on stream.
Oh, true, yeah.
And a little kind of innovations when we get to these stages of the meta game, because it's just a bit of fun, right? And you get to start playing different Pokemon. There's still an Arceus deck out there that I want to eventually showcase. We had to interview him very quickly yesterday, Lucas, with Arceus Sanaconda VMAX.
Oh, goodness gracious me. That would be fun. But I think now Bolly is ready, so we can hear from him in his winner's interview and pick his brains about his deck.
Wow, what a game. That was done rather quickly there, Bolly.
Yes.
That was probably my favorite Lost Box game I've ever seen.
Really?
Mainly because it was you playing, one of my fellow locals. Bolly, how you feeling?
Yeah, I'm feeling good. I can't complain. Like, yeah, I built the deck. I copied a little bit of a list that Brendan Cameron played, but I added a few more switch cards to it to make it even faster. And yeah, it's just been running smoothly,
Yeah, we saw exactly that with the Sableye turn 2.
Yeah.
And a few extra lost zones to count as well. I think it was 11 in the lost zone.
Yeah. So like, I quite regularly get that. Like, yeah, if I go first, that's why I initially just went straight for the comfies. Like, some people might go for like, okay, go ninja or something. But I knew I was going to draw into one of my switch cards. So I was just like, yeah, let's get all the comfies out, get as many turn 1, so we don't need to do as much in the later turn.
Yeah, so you said you got more switch outs there. I saw there was 2 switch in there. So is it
yeah.
4 escape rope, 4 switch cut, 2 switches?
Yeah, 10 of them. Yeah.
My goodness. So you're motoring through the deck. How often has that been happening so far in the tournament?
So yeah, it's been happening quite a lot. Against a mirror, a Lost Box mirror, I got it twice in a row. Like, and then it's only really relevant in some matchups like the Lost Box. Other times 7 is enough, so you don't need the full 10. But
yeah, I guess if you get to 7, you got
Mirage Gate.
Yeah, you got Mirage Gate for a variety of attacks. We saw it right there with Raikou
and Dragonite.
And Dragonite too. So you've gone for that more fast-paced deck. No Kyogre, more of a turbo build.
Yeah.
Why did you choose the turbo over the Kyogre build?
So I was like testing the Kyogre build a lot before, and I liked it as well, but like sometimes it got to stages where, the opponent would have taken like 3 prizes already or 4, and then you're like trying to get your Kyogre play off, and then it gets too late and they judge you, and then you just like put back a turn, and then online people kept adding Manaphy's to their random decks, like Arceus Tina and Arceus Dura. They just added Manaphy. I saw Lugia with a Manaphy, so I was like, nah, if people are doing this online, they might do this in person, like, because they know Kyogre is like one of the ones to watch for this tournament.
So just go fast.
Like, yeah. So I was like, I'll just KO them before they evolve, yeah.
And it looked really smooth out there. Obviously, that's probably the smoothest it ever gets, so we were lucky to see that at its best. But I want to ask you a little bit about Rule Zero. You're part of an amazing community. One of which I go to too, which is why I'm intrigued. We know we have some of the strongest players in Europe, both yourself, Kai Wainwright. We had quite a few people yesterday getting their invites for Worlds.
Exactly, yeah.
Do you think we have the strongest local here?
Ooh, that is a big shout. But I think we're definitely up there. We're definitely up there. We should organize like a UK like team like battle thing, like team league battle. That would be cool. That would be cool.
And
Maybe in this build up to Worlds. Right?
Yeah, maybe. We'll work out something there.
Yeah,
maybe.
Yeah.
Is there anyone out there who wants to do this? Maybe someone in this building right here.
Rule Zero, man.
Yeah. I guess there's an element of fear people come up against. Maybe I'm exaggerating. Maybe people don't really notice any difference. But, you know, now you're in a commanding position. Day 2 here. What's your strongest finish in the past?
So I've bubbled in 9th. That was my best finish. I was playing a white Kyrium deck. I don't know if people remember.
Bit of a throwback.
Yeah. My friend Yasin, he introduced me to the deck like a couple weeks before the tournament, and I was like, yes, I'm playing this. Yeah, and then I've got like a couple like I think I got one top 16 and then a couple top 32s, but yeah.
So this is the event.
This could be the top 8 that I'm waiting for. Yeah.
Well, hopefully we get to see you there. So on a larger scale, you mentioned a deck from quite a while ago. How long have you been playing for?
Oh, I think I started in like 2015, 16. Yeah, something like that. Like I used to play online like casually, like. And then I decided to buy the real life cards and then turn up to like London cities back then. And then I came 10th in my first ever tournament. So I was like, maybe I can do this, you know?
Yeah, and I guess being part of a big city allows you to have lots of other good players around you, so you get that experience.
Exactly, yeah.
And now you're traveling all over Europe, you know, one of the largest groups traveling around Europe to regionals. What's this season been like for you?
Yeah, no, I mean, it started off a bit shaky. I think I didn't really get any points till December, I think. So yeah, I whiffed points in like the first 3 or 4 regionals. I bubbled actually in the Open after Worlds. Yeah, because I played in Worlds and then played in the Open. So yeah, I was a bit tense, but like once Lugia came out and I tried Lugia out, I was like, okay, this is more my style.
Okay,
then,
so you like the aggressive style decks.
Yeah.
We saw it with your build of Lost Box.
Exactly.
Is there a particular reason why you go for a more aggressive style?
I think that's just the way I find the game fun. I like, you know, just like taking my prizes. Like I'm not trying to like stall things out or like heal or like control or anything. Like that's never been my style of play. I just like going for the jugular.
Well, I hate to break it to you, but going fast might not be the way in the future with Iona around the corner.
Well, I mean, they have to set up, right? What if they don't get to set up because we KO their routes too?
I mean, so there's going to be more to think about in the future for those faster decks. But I mean, we saw today how good it was.
Exactly.
I guess with your deck, have you got a little testing group who you tend to build around with?
Yeah. So the rest of the Ruggiero crew, John is the resident Lost Box expert, so he always gets good inputs. Kai, of course, Steven. Yeah, there's like a few of us we test.
Yeah, all with Worlds invites. The squad.
Yeah, exactly.
The squad.
Exactly.
And when we're talking here about this event as a whole.
Yeah.
When you're looking around the hall, are you focusing on just yourself, or are you thinking, I wonder how everyone else is doing?
Yeah, no, of course. We have our group chat, and we also like try and find each other if we have time between rounds and check out the rest of the team's doing. Of course, yeah. Not just myself, yeah.
And I guess for anyone at home who's listening to this and thinking, that sounds amazing to be a part of a local community, what would you recommend for people to get started?
I think just turn up, you know? Like, everyone's always welcome. We get new people at Rule Zero every week, and we bring them in, and then they become regulars after a few weeks. Yeah, that's just the community. Like, don't be afraid. Like, we all started somewhere, even if you're not good, you know, just put yourself out there that first time and see what happens.
Well, everyone is lovely at our community and so welcoming, and I'm sure there's a lot of them out in the hall right now who want to congratulate you after that amazing performance. So I'll let you get away now, and congratulations once again, and hopefully we'll see you in top 8.
Hopefully, yes, sir.
Thank you. That was a quick round, so we will have a little bit of some fun before we get into the next round. So stick around and see what we get up to.